Like have your recipes changed a lot from making, smaller amounts of cheese to massive amounts of cheese now?
Well, recipes have changed a bit, but that's mainly because of the big processes we have been evaluating and we have been changing. We have been with our whole team since the beginning. We have always been working on our own machines, and this makes it actually for a startup very. I mean, it's challenging, but at the other side, it's also easy to understand always the processes in-house. When there are issues, all our people can understand it, they can fix it, and if you're just buying like finished, ready-to-use machines, it's very rarely that they will work exactly to your expectations. So recipes change a bit, and also processes changed drastically, of course.
Yeah, because you're now all of a sudden going from just you and Alice to 17 people working and crazy amounts of cheese that needs to get out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, when we started with Alice, we produced around 200 cheeses a week or 100 cheeses a week, and right now we're producing around 10,000 to 15,000 cheeses a week.
Oh my God, it's so amazing. Yeah. That's so incredible. And do you still like enjoy your own cheese, or are you like, not my cheese again?
Well, I do. I think it's very important for myself to enjoy it, and I'm also not producing it anymore. So from time to time, I'm of course eating it, and it's always super interesting. Also for the whole communication with the team to talk about quality and all those aspects.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is really incredible cheese, people. I think that, and for the listeners, because so you were saying like you're in Switzerland and 600 shops, UK, France, you were looking into getting into Germany and stuff. Can people also in Europe, within Europe, can they shop online and get it sent to them, or how does that work?
Well, actually, not for now. Only in Switzerland we're available in online shops.
Okay.
And it makes it quite problematic to send cooled products to the EU reunion because of customs and taxes. So usually the cheese stays at the borders for a few days, and then it's quite easy perishable. So, but we're working on it. So within the next 12 months, it will be available through two online shops in Germany. Will make it easier for European people to order our products, of course.
And was it something, so at first you were just making your cheese in Switzerland, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And was there something in your life, or what happened that you were like, that's it, I'm also going to other places in Europe? Like, was that a sort of logical next step for you, or was it something that you wanted all this time? Like, how did that go?
Well, at the beginning, I mean, I never worked much in my life, but I always knew that I want to be like self-employed and do my own thing. So that idea with the cheese came up. And then, like, at the beginning, I was just like testing the market and to see how do people like it. But then as soon as we scaled up the first production and the interest was here in Switzerland, it was quite clear for us that we're focusing on the whole scale-up phase, and we're also looking for other markets. So we did like some market research, and we saw that the UK is one of the interesting innovative markets in Europe, and that's why we chose the UK as a first export country.
And it's going really well there.
Yeah, it's going well. We have a sales person who is managing the whole sales and marketing in the UK. She's doing all the fairs, the festivals, and make sure that the New Roots cheese gets to the right people.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's amazing. And so soon you'll also go onto the German market.
Yeah, exactly.
So for Germany, did you then also do like extended research if New Roots was going to work in Deutschland?
Well, we
Or
just saw like the market data in Germany. We knew that like people, I think, have, how can I say this? Like, I think they're not really open to pay or like willing to pay for like better quality food like people do in Switzerland. So we can see that this will be an issue and is an issue. But in the longer term, our main focus is just to scale up production. So we're really able to focus on the price point, stay with the same quality, and be able to compare with like traditional dairy products. This will be our main focus, because like the vegan products shouldn't be like an exclusive things to buy, you know. It should be available to the like broader audience, and this is like very important for New Roots.
And so do you feel like, because, you know, for example, I think that, would you say that for most people, New Roots is a little bit expensive, like the cheese? Like, would you say that or how do you feel about your price range?
Well, we have new products that we have launched last year, which are not too pricey anymore, but we have older products which are still pricey, just because they have like a high cashew amount, and this makes it like just expensive, because cashews are expensive to harvest, to produce. So in the long term, we are also working on R&D, research and
development.
To work like ingredient sources from Switzerland, which will also change the whole behavior here in Switzerland, so we can support the farmers and not compete against them with cashews. Yeah,
that sounds good. And because do you feel like, I would say that the success of New Roots, and I've seen it as well with my own cheese, Gopal, you know, I think it's also not like cheap, but people are really willing to pay the money for a really good product, don't you think? Like,
yeah, well,
or is it?
I think it's not only the product itself. It's like, I think it's the whole community we have behind the brand. I think the brand awareness we have is fairly high. Yeah. And that has all to do with the ethical message we try to spread. I think also the whole blueprint we have with our company, you know, we have since the beginning, we have set our blueprint, our vision very clear, to make sure we're not, while we're growing, we're not losing this path.
Vision. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I think many great startups come out of purpose to a great idea to offer easier, more sustainable ways of producing innovative products and serving humanity in a more ethical way. But it tends, though, that as soon as startups are kicking off, the purpose is often getting lost, and suddenly there are a lot of shortcuts happening, like shortcuts leading to poorer like work and product quality, less sustainable production steps, and less ethical choices. Just like the end, to be more profitable and to bring investors and stakeholders the right yearly, annual reports. Yeah. And I think especially in the growth and scale-up phase, just like any business plan, a company should have a very clear vision about the philosophy and the blueprint. So with New Roots, since starting our company, we have chosen the wording of our blueprint very carefully. And just like financial planning, there is, I think, nothing more important for a company to stick to these rules, no matter how big we are getting.
Yeah. And you're still sticking with that today, right? That vision.
I mean, one very important rule is the ethical message, and of course the product is, and the people is what defines this message. So when it comes to the product, there is such an importance of who has designed, developed, and produced those high quality products. Because like each single team member at New Roots is defining those products each day. So that's also why at New Roots we hire only dynamic team members who have like stimulating jobs and who are personally excited by the products they produce each day. So right now we're a team of 70 people, and everyone at New Roots is really sharing this very same vision. Than the company, we're all vegans, and that's why we can also tackle much like bigger challenges together in a team like this than just any other normal company.
And would you say it's because I found, especially when we were running the cafe, and I mean even with Gopal, I think it was hard to find good people. Like, is finding good staff a hard thing to do for a business? Do you feel?
Well, totally. I think it's one of the hardest things we face. I mean, it's one of the biggest challenges to. On one hand, you need professional people, you need talents, you need people, especially in that huge growth phase, who want to go this extra mile. But it's also very important that it's a good balance between giving and getting, and people really need to feel valued for what they're doing in a company. And I think this will result to amazing things when you combine all those brains and those talents together. And especially when you see what's happening right now, and you give them the chance to work on a idea that can change and disrupt current food systems. That makes it, I think, very exciting. Also for me, every day at New Roots, that's something I think we're very proud of, to have a like-minded team like we have today.
Yeah. I mean, and amazing that you found all these people together and you're all striving for the same thing. I think it's rare,
That's true. Especially, I think it will be even a bigger challenge when we continue to grow.
Yeah.
Facility and with people working from abroad in the different export markets. It's very important that they really share this vision and bring it to the people. So we really don't lose touch with this blueprint we have defined.
And do you also know, like, do you keep an eye on, or like, do you know a little bit what the numbers are, like, of like dairy? Like, even the consumption of dairy changing in Switzerland the last few years, or do you feel like people? I feel there's way more need also of plant-based products these days. Like, do you feel that too in Switzerland for you?
Yeah, totally. I mean, you can see that where you have alternatives. Sorry, I'm just gonna close this because that's very annoying. Sorry. Do you want to start with the question again?
Yeah, sure. You can keep going. I can take this out. You can keep talking.
Sure. So actually, in Switzerland, you can see that where you have alternatives, for example, to dairy milk, like the production amount have been falling dramatically. Like, people in Switzerland don't drink as much dairy milk as before. That's just because we have so many options. But then on the other hand, numbers of like cheese, especially hard cheese, is still rising. But that's only due to the fact that we don't have like great alternatives to like hard cheese, melty cheese, Gruyere, fondue. And that's something we are working on it. It's like a 3 years process. Yeah, really bring authentic, hard and meltable vegan cheese to the market, which comes also with the same melting properties, and also in terms of nutrition facts, which is high in protein, in good fats, just like any cheese is, but just, of course, without the cruelty, without the devastating CO2 impact and the impact the dairy cheese has on the environment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And when you started your cheese making business, did you? I feel like we talked about it when you were in Lisbon. Like, did you go to check how actual cheese is made? Is that something you did? I remember we did. Did we talk about something like that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How was that for you?
Well, actually, I knew that somehow I needed that that knowledge, but on the other hand, I felt a bit like what I am doing here.